Shallow departures, picking myself up right after. Do you mean the words you say? Because day to day we exchange and it's so flippant. But I will always listen. And do you mean the words you say? Because day to day that we exchange and feel so flippant. But I will always listen, always. I will always listen, always. I will always listen. I will take it personally, keep my head straight and think rationally, keep my head down, not keep going round in my mind. Do you let your colors show? Do you let your colors show? Only you know, only you know. And do you mean the words you say? Because day to day that we exchange and feel so flippant. No, I will always listen. And they left me letters and words with no structure. And shallow departures, picking myself up right after. Thank you.
So my sensitivity can make me feel so lonely, like no one in the world understands what it's like to be me. My sensitivity can't stand loud noises. It feels uncomfortable around angry voices. My sensitivity hates certain fabric, rather itch my skin off than wear velvet. My sensitivity is the child of empathy and anxiety. When they have a family get-together, it's so overwhelming, like a volcano which is constantly on the verge of exploding. My sensitivity jumps at the slightest sharp movement, like a lion's prey under attack at any moment. My sensitivity is the biggest crybaby you'll ever meet. The Niagara Falls might just compete. My sensitivity grew up in a home which some might consider broken. If stability and reliability were cocktails, they're the ones I'd get drunk on. My sensitivity is so conflict averse. Upsetting someone is a lane they'll always swerve. Putting difficult conversations off means car crashes are inevitable. The self-loathing aftermath is so predictable. My sensitivity needs to be kept in check so I don't overthink non-existent scenarios and end up a wreck. My sensitivity means that when I love hard. You'll know it right from the start. I'll serenade you with WhatsApp's poetry and bars. I'll make you feel like a movie star. My sensitivity is the reason I appreciate beauty in art, nature, or even a good TV ad. Yes, I'm crying about washing up tablets. No, I'm not really that sad. My sensitivity tends to drag me to exhaustion. I need quiet time in dark rooms after too much commotion. I've spent my whole life being described as too sensitive, like it's a negative. But what if it's not a good thing or a bad thing? What if it's just another beautiful, messy part of me, my sensitivity? My sensitivity actually has a name, the acronym HSP, which stands for Highly Sensitive Person. See, if you can relate to me and my story, I'd love it if you told me. Maybe one of us could feel a little less lonely. I was really in two minds about the next one tonight, the final one, because it's very weird and there's a word in there I never use, so I apologise in advance if it offends anyone, but it's a subject I wish was less taboo. This one is called Losing My Libido. One of the symptoms of my anxiety and stress is that I really don't crave sex. When asked by my therapist about how this makes me feel, I've been very honest and very real. I know this sounds crazy, but despite my current mental state, in this area, I feel pretty confident, pretty great. I have no desire for men or their gaze. I don't rely on them for validation or praise. I don't don't need a dick inside me to feel hot or pretty. I don't need a fuck to release a mind block. I don't miss my ex-fuck boys. I don't even need sex toys. I feel so fucking sexy knowing I don't need a male. A tribute to all the times I should have said no, but I failed. Don't get me wrong, I miss enjoying a shag. I always had a healthy appetite, I don't mean to brag. But I can't help but feel my body knows there are bigger things I need to focus on right now. My career, my fitness, my pros. So for now, I have an appreciation for my lack of desire for fornication. I see it as a massive fuck you to the patriarchy and everything it's put me through. So it's time to reclaim my body and my rights, starting with the part in between my thighs. So men, you can design me all you want, or not. I really don't care, and neither does my cunt. I know you're out there somewhere and you will come back. In the meantime, I'll keep writing poems which are a bit whack. Thank you.
Have you ever taken a liquid shit at 100 miles an hour, squatting over a hole the size of a dinner plate, hands clutched desperately to the handlebar of the train toilet wall as the floor rumbles anerotics beneath your feet? The train hurtles uncertainly forward, like an over-enthusiastic child who decides to charge down a hill at full pelt, only to find that partway down they are no longer in full control of their descent. And so they try to slow their stumbling charge, but as they do, they feel their center of gravity shift, and their head is pulled down back to Mother Earth, where it will once again become blood and bone and dust. In those moments, the child realizes that the mistake has already been made, and that Marcus Aurelius was right when he said, what stands in the way becomes the way, and so the child accepts his fate with stoic resolution to hurtle bravely forward as man, as warrior, as king. To increase their speed and throw themselves willingly into oblivion is the only chance they might have to survive. But he's not a child running down a hill. He is a man shitting himself on the overnight train to Beijing, and he is unsure of the lesson here. His stomach muscles are cramping again, tight, sickening agony. Has any man faced a fate worse than this? Helpless and whimpering with only the cold tile of the bathroom floor to play the kind lover, caressing his face with a tenderness he has not been shown in 27 years. He first started shitting himself 3 days ago. She felt bad for him and was nice about it, but it was her trick too, so she went with everyone else, which is totally fair, and besides, he probably would have done the same, even if he knows he wouldn't have done the same, and she knows he wouldn't have done the same, but it's less awkward if we don't talk about it, and it will probably be fine soon, right? Did you know that little boys cry the same amount as little girls until the age of 8, because that's a point in their lives when they're told it's not okay to cry anymore? He Googled that to see if that was true. He couldn't find anything that said it was, but it felt true. It's character building, isn't it? Living a strenuous life is what American President Teddy Roosevelt said, meaning through struggle. He read that in an article on theartofmanliness.com when he was trying to understand why everything always had to feel so fucking hopeless. So he takes Imodium and rehydration sachets and well-intentioned jokes and the embarrassed looks of pity, always embarrassed. Always so embarrassing, isn't it, to see a man's hurt laid out so plain and unadornished. So much better to dress it up in something more palatable, more acceptable, more becoming of a man his age. He broke his little finger once. He was so angry he punched the wall. I guess the wall was angrier. He was drunk and he was sorry and it was unacceptable. He was ashamed of his anger, yes, but he didn't know where else to put it. No one showed him. That's not true. They showed him exactly what to do, and that's exactly what he did. So why did it hurt so much afterwards? Man doesn't feel pain, a man doesn't feel anything. He saw a mother screaming at her little boy in a shop once. The boy was crying because she'd said no to buying him a toy. She told him if he kept crying, everyone would think he was gay. He wasn't old enough to understand why she was so angry. He wasn't old enough to understand that she loved him and she only wanted what was best for him. He wasn't old enough to understand that in her own fucked up way, she was only trying to say that the world was not too kind to little boys who were too soft. She was only trying to warn him because she loved him too much to see him hurt. She loved him so much she'd rather hurt him herself even if it hurt her too. Because her anger was only pain trying to express itself, because everyone's anger is only pain that feels unheard, because his anger is only an 8-year-old boy who doesn't understand why he isn't allowed to cry anymore, or why it's so important that he takes after his father, or why one day his father stopped hugging him and never started again, or why one day everyone stopped hugging him and never started again, or why the feeling the cold, dirty towel on the floor of the toilet pressed against his face was the first time he felt safe and small and warm again. He wonders if, when he has an 8-year-old boy, he will not stop hugging him. And if he will show him the words that no one ever showed him. He wonders if he can be tender too. But then he remembers the way his little finger sticks out funny ever since the day he broke it. An accusation, unforgiven. And he wonders if the mistake has already been made. If Marcus Aurelius was right when he said what stands in the way becomes the way, and he must hurtle reluctantly forward, playing at being king, at warrior, at man, and throw his 8-year-old son willingly into oblivion, believing it is the only chance he has to survive. We got time for another?
Yeah, I believe so.
Cool.
Yeah.
Which of the other two do you guys want to hear?
Dating
She says she lives in the liminal spaces. I'm more mercurial, different phases, talking for weeks from different places, anticipation building for the day when our date is. She is warm and playful and just standoffish enough to make me want to try harder than I should. Yo, this girl's got me pressed, man. Other women's DMs are getting ignored. I'm checking my phone too much. I even cancelled on that girl from Singapore, and I know it's not her. I know it's probably just a hunger for someone. Because if you ask my friends, it's every few weeks someone catches my attention, leaves my head spinning, losing all sense of direction. But I've learned that whatever I'm missing from connections that can't fulfill the needs of my heart or head can at least be temporarily fixed by filling my bed. When we meet, she is charming and just cold enough. A sign it's not worth trying, or an invitation to warm her up. I come to find it's the latter, the same way I come to find that she tastes like cigarettes and a good time, laced with a sliver of anxiety in the pit of my stomach that I can't quite place. Man, I don't even drink no more, but she's got me feeling tipsy. Dazed. I'm not done with tonight yet, but the bell rings last orders. I say, where can we go next? She says, my place is around the corner. I'm not gonna lie, it's starting to feel like she planned it. I like to feel like the man, but tonight I'm led like the lamb. But it's worth it to see the way she embraces her sexuality like a goddess. And baby, I'm just here to give worship. But as the sweat dries, I begin to move back from my body to my mind. I find myself wondering, where's this all going? What does it mean? She tells me, it's just the first date, man. Relax, enjoy the in-between. Let your expectation go. She taps on my forehead saying, less thunderclouds, more rainbows. Last I checked, in my head, the forecast is mostly stormy weather, but with her hot skin pressed against mine, I can see the rainbows better, and for a hot minute I begin to believe I've fallen in love. I'm in love with the moment, I'm in love for the night, the walls come crumbling down, and I swear this girl knows exactly what she's doing. And I know exactly what I'm doing. It's what I always do. I come through looking for a little something, but before I know it, I'm trying to keep it reined in because it's so frustrating, because my mind is racing. And in that moment, I see our life together unfold in front of my eyes. And why not? I mean, look at us, we can't stop talking. It's like we've been friends for years. Her profile says she wanted a man who made her cackle like a witch, and the way she's laughing tonight seems like I've got the potion for her notion. My hands gripped on the bare skin of her face, my hands gripped on the bare skin of her waist. Feels so perfect, so right. So when she asks if I'm okay, I want to tell her it's cool, it's calm, I'm all right. Don't worry about me, gorgeous, I'm blessed. But my one and only rule is I've got to say it with chest. So I stop. I look her in the eye and I ask her if there's any chance she might one day be mine. I don't mean now and not tomorrow and not even next month, now it's fine, but it's not often you spend 24 hours with a stranger wrapped up in each other's bodies, sharing kisses, laughter and secrets, only to find yourself walking out that door, wishing there was time for more. So when that does happen, I kind of want to see who that person might be to me. And I know I don't really know you, but I like you. And I just want to give that space to grow, you know? She smiles. She says she likes me too. That my energy's different. The way I always speak my truth. The way I make her back arch. I ain't got no equals, so let's take it slow. Let's see where this can go. But just so I know, she's still fucking other people.
A woman. I wonder if they see me. See the sweet intimacy of blossoming buds growing in the garden of my heart. The white lily wraps me in its raiment. The redolence of jasmines kisses my cheeks. Alas, fleeting is the majesty of this bodily response, this bodily temple. My limbs can do so much. My legs have stopped dancing for the stars. My voice has lost its gracefulness. I wonder if they see me. I wish to tell them of my joys and sorrows, that the quest of this longing is our mutual happiness, that I yearn, like they do, to be loved. Instead, my speech stutters and my lips fail. The wheelchair that confines me speaks eloquently to convey my deeper challenges. I wish to tell them of the beauty in my soul, to let them know that they're all invited. Why can't they hear the lute within my spirit, serenading the moon with its haunting rhapsodies? I fear they see only my fragility, my powerlessness. Perhaps they wish to help, to empathize, but not sure how to console me. Just yesterday, I was at a wedding party. I was the joy of the ceremony, the cynosure of all eyes. Now my thoughts are occupied with a new challenge, and my soul weeps. Time has no favorites, and the transience of life knows no discrimination. I wonder if they see me. This tender, delicate frame is adorned by kind souls who seek to preserve my smile, my dignity, self-respect. Meanwhile, I sit in this special chair, me, a woman, having to deal with the rolling tides of life. Trapped in the sacred temple, I seem to be covered with thorns, yet I am in the breath of roses, radiating a glimmering light. I wonder if they see me. That was my first poem. Alone in this solitude of emptiness. Being in love with you can sometimes feel like ballet. My soul soars and trembles like a bashful dancer, stunned in a bewilderment of speechless flames. The gleam of your luster has brought the sun and moon together, their golden rays delivering my shadows to a smoldering pile of useless knots. You're adorned, my beloved, like immaculate flowers blossoming in my being. My gaze held captive by your tantalizing beauty, unfurling itself in the bouquet of my soul. Each strum of your music is like that of mystic fairies, every melody like a thrill in my heart. Your moonlight appears like a river of light, bathing my core with its indigo rays. Sweet melody, you're more gorgeous than an empress, gentler than a lucid stream. Bedecked like shooting stars, you remain unsullied like the glow of lustrous heaven. You unpeel your dreams, revealing the sunrise splendor of daybreak, an extraordinary display of elegance drawing me closer to the wine of thy lips. Nightingales sing of thy symphonies, yet without thy emerald gaze, who will satisfy my longing? Now I know why the sacred firmament still celebrates the shooting stars. You're more graceful than the swan, my rose, so much more eloquent than grand speeches. Each lava's scent of the fragrant honeysuckle draws you even closer to my intimacy of breathing. O light of my sweet Shama, you much more vibrant than the sun, gathering up the agonies of my yearning, I place them all at thy beloved feet divine. I see you, waltzing effortlessly like a celestial maiden, soaring with the dignity of the condor, flapping with the grandeur of butterflies. You remain unmatched in feminine excellence. I'm only a songbird whose heart remains loyal, yet I'm so caught up in my reticence. I am soaked with autumnal sentiments, too shy to repeat the words, I love you. In thoughts of you, I yearn for summer, my radiant best, embraced in light-filled evenings beneath this beautiful sunset. I'm like a golden boat, longing to drift on this current of enchantment with my queen. The moon's cascading twinkling stars, enthralling my vision with shimmering lights. Now my inner longing dances on the lap of liberation. I once tied myself to the chains of false entanglements. Now alone in this rapture of drunken emptiness, I bathe at the gates of a nameless freedom. Lantern Carrier, thank you.
Ideas can't be contained or restrained. They burned all the books. But we descended from griots, and we committed whole libraries to memory. Look inward. Be patient. Everything goes in cycles. This trough will not last. With hardship comes ease. With hardship comes ease. With hardship comes ease. Repetition is key to memory, to comprehension. Censorship is the last resort of weak minds and closed hearts. Practice love with intellectual discourse. Travel to learn, even if you have to go to China. Motion creates magic. Untether, roam free. No tariffs. They burned all the books. Let's write new ones. Our minds are free when our hearts are nurtured. Thank you.
I stopped my habits 2 years ago. And for those who know my relationship with control, they'd say I have a bitter relationship with going with the flow. Uncertainty and new faces that came into my life, I convinced myself I was a stop-off on their bus ride, and that's fine. That's totally fine. Grief. Grief sparked this newfound love for time alone. Coffee dates, doing those couple-type dates, but on my own, I guess I've grown. I suppose during this state of grieving, I've stripped back these bad habits of mine, and it's refreshing. They'd be proud of me. But just because I live cleaner, it doesn't mean the grief is ever ending. My version of fun may be bleak to some, but I like scheduling days in between busy nights, just so I can breathe and take in the scenery and process any unexpected moments, but in my own company. Grief with lessons. Grief taught me to slow down and not run. Have fun within reason, don't say yes just to please them. Not to follow a crowd, simply leave if it's getting too loud. Because noise can be overwhelming, especially when people tell you things when you were never asking. They assumed I didn't care, but trust me, I felt it. They said I walked away confidently as if I knew where I was going. Said things with meaning without truly knowing. I guess I need to get better at saying how I feel. Grief. Although it provided tools of survival, I retreated for years and became my own rival. The amount I was writing to make sense of it was antagonising but vital. But years on, and feeling settled, I don't quite feel the need to hide. Grief is an everyday weight, but at least now I have some form of peace and mind. Thank you.
This goes out to my grandmother, who's 84 years old, and this is called Goshto, which means hardship, difficulty or trouble in Bengali. It's about her sort of battle with dementia and things like that. What does it all mean, this place we are in? This life, tick-tock, watching the clock until we die. 1930s to 2020s, you blink and 84 years go by. You breathe in birth, childhood, marriage, love, home, kids, work, struggle, bereavement, illness. You breathe out, your partner passes, your memory fades. You spend 20 years sleeping alone or swapping between different grandchildren, but it's never the same. The loneliness is hard to explain. You speak of your youth, your siblings, some who died young in an outbreak of pox. You speak of your parents and their goshto. You speak of the trees, how the leaves move in the wind. You ask where people are going and when they will return. Where is Mehdi? Where is Mehdi? Did he go to school? Where is Parvin? Did she go to work? When will they be back? When will they be back? When will they be back? This desperate desire for connectedness, for company, for comfort, for something to feel familiar and joyous and safe again, with so much loss, so much pain buried deep, numb and in denial of the very idea of grief. How can your psyche remain intact? Trauma and tragedy take their toll on the mind, which spills into the body, slips into your spine, your bones which ache, your hands which shake, tremor, your words which stutter. The passing of time sees the weakening of the mind, the legs and zeal for life once strong, now limping, wobbling to the next room, asking the same questions on a loop. Do the children still play football in the field opposite your house? I was one of 12 children. Now I am alone. It makes me so sad to think that now I am alone. They are all gone now. It's only me now. It's only me. Do the children still play football in the field opposite your house? It's only me now. It's only me. See, I was one of 12 children, but they're all gone now. It's just me. Do the children still play football in the field opposite your house? It's only me now. It's only me. You know, I was one of 12 children, but now it's only me. Do the children still play football in the field opposite your house? I was one of 12 children, but it's only me now. But do the children still play football in the field opposite your house? She clutches to my answers like safety, searching for reassurance in my words, as if they will restore the memories which vanish just out of reach. They are on the tip of her tongue and then lost, cumbersome, cluttered in the fog, the ice lolly-carved house made precarious and brittle. The wolf lets out a whisper and it all blows away. Her son sparks a cigarette in my driveway. I wonder how many thoughts and memories come and go as he pulls the flame into his lungs, like pouring water out of a fishbowl, flipping a sand timer upside down. Do the children still play football in the field opposite your house? The brain, now a porous, messy thing. A jigsaw which cannot be solved. The slow unraveling of the mind is noticed only in the questions which she asks. It is maddening and tragic, waking to a different topic, watching and waiting as they become more distorted. It is in how she holds a fork and how she holds my gaze. It is in how she looks at my niece, looking for answers in her face, hoping that somewhere in her smile she will recognize the child, but the memory is lost. She still laughs and hugs her. Perhaps this embrace restores a feeling misplaced. Perhaps it will return again tomorrow and can once again be traced. And in witnessing this encounter, something within me breaks. I tell myself that long-term memory remains. But there is no certainty in this journey, and I may face the same fate. Will she wake one morning and not recognize my face? This life as a circle takes you gently through its course. From birth to adulthood, formative moments to endure, it eases you in with baby steps, learning and cognition, a slow passage through understanding and condition. How cruel a thing it is then, to watch. The collapse of a lifetime worth of knowledge and experience. How each morsel of mind and memory disappears, a slow disentanglement, a fading image. And what does it all mean? This place we are in, this life, tick-tock, watching the clock until she forgets. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name's Susan, and I've been replaced. My ex, he upgraded or downgraded, whichever you want to.
He downgraded. Downgraded.
He downgraded to a sex doll. And this is all about that. It's this piece is called Pump Up the Pam. His latest conquest, she's different to me. She hasn't got stretch marks. She's not 43. 36, 24, 36 is her size. There's a crack in her abs and a gap in her thighs. She gave it up easy on their first date. No Verve Clicquot needed, nor Michelin plate. No expectations of a boyfriend who treats her. He had trouble deciding on Chinese or pizza. He said I was loud, always having opinions, and that made me feel like one of his minions. He found her online where he had too much choice, so he went for the one with the quietest voice. It's not good to compare, but she is my successor. She lacks common sense, she's an airhead, bless her. His going is good now, but where to next? When you're dating a woman that can't even text. Watching sunsets together with her static eyes. Or his favourite, Bukkake. Yeah, that was quite the surprise.
Wow.
It's the only line that you'll find in a poem containing Bukkake. Hold on, I'll have to rewind off.
Yeah, say it again.
Hold on, right. Pull up. Watching sunsets together with her static eyes. Or his favourite, Bukkake. That was quite the surprise. I expect he'll invite Ken from next door round, but she won't call him daddy, because she won't make a sound. He won't need to finish her off when he's done, or tell her he loves her and that she's the one. I hope that he treats her like a man is supposed to, and at least wipes her down when he's ready to ghost her.
Wow.
Now, this next one is my lament about... well, no, it's the next poem. Sorry, there's no more Bukkake in this. There is a mention of Pornhub, though, if you want that, so something to look forward to.
It's a through line, a leitmotif for you.
Yeah, good, thanks. So who missed lockdown? Who loved it? Who hated it? I loved it.
Yeah,
I love it.
Did you? That's not surprising, because I think in a room full of spoken word poetry people, they're like, yeah, we love this, not having to talk to the world, isn't it? So this one is about how much I love lockdown, and also there's a reference in it that probably no one, or half the room will not get, and it's about Perry Como, who's like basically an old-fashioned crooner with a song, his most favourite song is Magic Moments. Anyway, it's in that, but when I did it once before, everyone's like, and I'm like, oh, they don't get that Perry Como reference. Anyway, okay, let's go for it. I took my lockdown with a positive spin. The new going out was the old staying in. I was lucky enough to get to work from home, and I thank the Lord for internet and even the phone. I missed nothing because I still had my mind in which I went anywhere and left my passport behind. A sky without planes and the roads were all carless. I was always near a loo and I was quite often braless. A West London spa on a year-long retreat, and I got to know the neighbours. We were chatting in the street, enjoying life in slow-mo, said goodbye to FOMO, having moments more magic than Kim Perry Como. Your home meals, no after-school clubs. Drinking loads at home is much cheaper than the pubs. Not spending peas on lunch or on petrol, gym memberships or cab back from Central. Nowhere to go, there was no need for a chauffeur, so we got a different view because we changed ends on the sofa. Time to spend in nature. When's a bush called a shrub? And I think I've now completed all the levels in Pornhub. Lockdown skills, come get your fills. We pluralise the pastime of Netflix and chills. Cutting hair ourselves with a pair of clippers. The only things that fit were my leggings and slippers. It's in the quiet times and in times of reflection that we understand the self by increased introspection. Know thyself and you can grow thyself and you can get to know what's kept on Gary Lineker's bookshelves. A time for self-awareness with restrictions on action and the sense that our normality was just a distraction. I was actually quite weird about it being lifted since, life changed and energy shifted. Not having to see people who it was easier not to. But then all that changed and there was a sense that we got to. Nah, don't tell me I got to. So close to home, so close to home. Lockdown let me get so close to home. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so, this is very exposing actually. I have to say. So this is called my Facebook page. If my Facebook page were a garden, it would have died by now. An unattended mildew of fading leaves that once were friends. A soil drenched in poisonous liquor, rich in posts, churned out daily, maybe twice daily, or even more than that. To add or not to add, that is the question. To the withering foliage, not faded too much, not forgotten enough, to be brought back to life with an eager gulp of fresh, clean water. That's it. I probably should have practiced actually, but
No, you're doing wicked.
But yeah. Okay, so I have another one. It's called Lockdown, and yeah, I just wrote it in lockdown, and I think just having lots of solitude and time alone just kind of made me want to write this poem. So I haven't practiced them, so I can't even read my own my own handwriting. But okay. Earth asks solitude to hold its hand, to listen for a moment to the breeze. Earth asks solitude to wrap its arms around her, to embrace the stillness, the calm, the rest. Earth asks solitude not to panic. Morning sun will rise, not forgetting that we need light. Earth lets solitude know that days turn to night without ceremony, as they always do. So that's that.
So, a dream about an art college that I went to in Paris. It was beautiful and amazing. One day I went walking in the streets and I couldn't find the college. It was like it had disappeared off of the face of the earth. I had to do some serious looking around before I eventually found this old abandoned building where the centre had once been. Someone said that it used to be an art centre, but had closed and would reopen in 2027. I was so confused. I snuck into the building where I found a friend who was in a strange depression but unwilling to investigate what had happened to this art centre. I started having hallucinations about the teachers that I used to see, but it felt so real. As I ventured further into the building, I started seeing strange and horrifying figures, and then full-on factory workers creating these textiles and building materials like for a film set of some sort. I noticed they were young people, and some of them looked exactly the same. I managed to keep snooping around, but like magic, I found myself working with them. And then I saw someone who looked like me, and she was working too, and more of me, who were all working. I came to a realization that some sort of cursed magic spirit was at work. It was like instances of me would manifest from certain time periods in the past few days so that they could work double. I was the only one who realized this, and I listened to the manager to see what was going on. She was this feathery, scary, gorgeous woman who commanded the first floor of the building. I managed to piece together that all this fanfare was to build something that could not be achieved. I went to the second floor, and through spying, I found out the source of this fascination was kept on the 4th floor. I snuck in and climbed a small tower to find a tiny room. It had 4 or 5 figures in it, mummified with masking fluid. It was a human, a dog, a tiger, and something else. There was some exposition that revealed that this strange curse was trying to recreate life itself on the brink of death. These figures had been mummified on the brink of death, and so were an inspiration for the project. I knew to break this curse I would have to destroy them. I threw 3 of them out of the window before a cat mummy I was holding onto came to life and started scratching me. Suddenly the queen bee, whose name I've put in Jackie, quotation marks, was enraged and clawed out of the window too, though we began to fight in the streets. I eventually started pelting her with oak acorns. And because of all the timey-wimey bullshit, they would embed themselves in her and grow rapidly until she was torn apart by oak trees growing out of her body. The curse was broken as I destroyed the final mummy, and as I turned back to the art center, I found it had turned into an art collective store. I wandered inside, dirty, covered in blood, and marveled at the beautiful art being sold. I ran into a shopkeep, who was a former lecturer and looked all well. It was as if everything had been restored. The art center had been shut down, yes, but the students band together to buy the building and set up their studios instead. At this revelation, I collapsed to the floor, writing my name for the shopkeeper to see, and wept with joy.
It's that time. We're going to introduce our headliner for tonight. So please, can you give a warm welcome to SWVrthy?
First poem I'm going to perform is called Ndini Ani. Translation, Google translation, whatever translation, it means who am I in Shona. So, Ndini Ani, who am I to you? I have no clue. What shall I do to penetrate through the barrier of our stereotype? They try, but playing FM radio doesn't make us fat. They ain't gang. They cannot passively diffuse through the membrane of the past just because the IQ of their Insta shares the same meme page doesn't put us in the same class. Their names are easy to pronounce. Our names are remixed to bleed and please and still in ignition so they can stand tall. Blood! Don't make me go old school. Blood! Don't make me go old school. Blood! Don't make me go old school as I pull up my socks and stand up tall. Shandisa Ziterangu, for example, it's rather simple, just 3 syllables. Ta, pi, wa. Can I call you tap water instead? Nah, you cannot. You cannot decapitate the meaning of my name, gift from God. This is a personal message, not a direct message. In the PM, my DMs are active depending on my mood. Life's interlude helps me choose as to whose minds I would like to fudge. Cautiously opening the curtains for those who care to see how being coitus has wooded us for years. Yes, of course I feel post-coital tristesse. The interference wave of beer is destructive, never constructive. Wait, do they think knowing a lyric or two can make us resonate? Yeah, it may rise a spark, but this world is dark. Conversations only going so far, so I tell them, take a seat and sip this tea. This ain't a bar, and I ain't got temper, but when I park, you better get in the car, hop in the back seat. No time to bust bands and freestyle, just a simple K followed by a dot. They can get there, hop, suck, but that doesn't make us closer. Don't want to see man shooting the stars. Wishing to gain closure. Watching you washing and staining, what we time for is torture. This isn't a joyride. It's a journey in which people die. And if you can, do not disrupt the zen of my pen. I'm trying to keep it alive and not compromise the feeling we love. They're trying to keep it deprived and let it co-sign what radio does. Bitch! Don't kill my vibe. I am a sinner who's probably gonna sin again. Lord, forgive me. Lord, forgive me. Things I don't understand. You see, the antenna may match the frequency, but that doesn't make it okay. It's easy to press play, but they need to listen to what they said and what has been said, because you see, when the sun sets, it's not a reset. Darkness will eventually be illuminated by the red horizon, so arise, cutting ties, trying to channel the AM, won't tell you who I am. So, who am I? Ndini Ani. That's a question I ask myself every day. Kusikandafa. So yeah. So I have the pleasure of taking you through an experience of you enjoying the night with myself. With that being said, I didn't want to just perform. I thought I'd perform poems that I've never performed anywhere, so you know we can then really enjoy this evening. So this one, and everyone's mentioned about lockdown, the first one I'm gonna perform is actually a piece that I wrote during lockdown. It's called, entitled Munin, Little Brother. I am the middle child, and you can guess I am the best behaved one, right? So let's begin with when the alarm rang. My brain felt drained from a string of lingering feelings based on yesterday's wrongdoings. Opening my fiery eyes, I realized I only had 5 hours sleep and craved 5 more minutes of sleep. The snooze went from 1/4 to 1/4. I knew what I had to do, so I changed my alarm to 10 to. Rushing, had I woken up at the first alarm, I would have had my overnight oats. Then again, I didn't even prefer my overnight oats in the evening, so it's calm anyway. Cruising 22 miles on the A12, I recall how I recoil when I unveil what's not there. But I can see it so clear. Hachipo, I see the Kuzwana, so I check her. Suddenly, I'm in the theater room. If you've never been in one, my advice is don't assume. Theory is theory, practice is practice. Tick, tock, tick, tock. Now in bed, just in time for curfew. I know, right? You're probably thinking, I'm 25 and still have curfew. By the way, now I'm 28. I bet there are a few in here that understand the struggles of foreign rules in a foreign country. The irony of my home is that Zimbabwe is the home of my heart, whilst Barking is the home of my mind. With my soul, I've paved a story in this very soil. I got home in time. The mood seemed kind of fine, so I intrude on my little brother whilst he's watching NBA on the sofa. The game went to overtime. The clock struck 11. My lucky number. Shouldn't you be in bed at 9? Well, I wanted to, but I wanted to wait and tell you how my day went. He explained how his goal was and how his first touch was a flirtatious flick from the back of his heel, followed by a voluptuous volley that chipped. And that's how he scored, without the ball ever touching the ground. Of course I had to, spud man. He continued to explain how his growth has made him. He said, the coach said she likes how I've improved in controlling my emotions. For those that don't know, this kid is passionate. The type to cry when his team wins 5-0 just because he didn't get a hat-trick. Hana iko kana kuzikuza. Without a doubt, I'm a profound brother who is proud. Bedtime, we both strolled to our room. Yawning. Technically, it's my room, which I've seen 2 generational bunk beds. For peace, I dim the lights to rest, to redeem from the tests I constantly experience. Psst. Tabby. What? Shifted like the mannequin meme? Just wait until mommy goes to sleep. The hallway light has turned off, and I had assumed that from the first just wait he would have understood exactly what I meant. Then again, he is the youngest, and we've got the oldest, so he's not on the same wave as me and Tyrone. It went from psst to talking about his forehead, to talking about the Kobe Bryant interview we saw, enticing the thought about what Colin wrote in his book, Let Love Have the Last Word. Great book, amazing book. My 25th birthday gift, which I finished reading in Portugal and reflected on in Chickwell. So I advised him to think big. That's why he has a big forehead. I promise. What is the single thing that great people have in common? Anyone have an idea?
Big foreheads.
I was thinking, mine is big. So, being as cheeky as he is, he said, how would I know? Can you tell me? I don't even have the answer to this question. So, I just let the crickets run and run. And the best is reverse psychology. So I asked him, what do you think? And he said that he has no idea. So my hint was the day you find out what that single thing is, will be the day you know you're greater than great. Because you're already great. Do you know what he said? Ain't nobody got time for that. No, I'm joking, he didn't. Instead, he said, I guess that's why they're always thinking a few steps ahead. I think they set a goal that they believe they can achieve, but other people can't see. Reminding me of my cruise on the A12 at Chipo. I see Dinoku's Yuona Cheka. Ladies and gentlemen, my little brother was 11. And when my eyelids shut, I prayed to the heavens. That day, I had the Juju Man's Big Conspiracy on replay. I must say, Deeper Than Rap made me end up playing Tears of Joy. Smoking the best splits in my brand new bands, no idea on the track, let the story begin.
Yeah.
Begin. Look in the mirror and I don't see much. Staring in the streets, but I don't sleep much. And I say, smoking 20 Bens in my brand new Audi. Soy with no sauce, let the story begin. So dig in, for this is a legend that you're now involved in. Munin Ani. So me and my little brother were just backing off. We've got a 14 age gap. So I was the youngest one for a very, very long time. I mimicked being the youngest one, and now I have to teach him how to be the youngest one. So that's really interesting because he's not getting away with as many things as he should. This should be cut.
I'll
No, I'm joking. So the next piece I'm going to perform is called Letter Catcher. Can't remember when I wrote this, but yeah, let's begin. I put my ears to the ground, listening to the heartbeat of the crowd. Have you ever heard that sound? It pounds your vowels, creating a flow that helps you grow. As you bestow the knowledge you know, speaking from your core, through leaps that roar, from expressions you store, the time you felt low. Breathe in through your nose, your senses recall winning the bro when anxiety calls. Meditation is a bro. A bro whose code overflows, keeping you whole each time you fall. So that you can roll, making wounds less sore. No seesaw emotions, solutions crawl into the cradle. Rocking the bottom to bounce up and huddle up to announce who we are. They don't know who we be. They don't know who we be. They don't know who we be. They don't know that this dictionary ain't free. I put my ears to the ground, listening to the heartbeat of the crowd. Chisingaperi chinoshura. Making sure you lower your asura sooner rather than later, battling when your health gets poorer. No derag activity, drifting in waves, cutting corners. I'm a schoolyard, slow and saliginous. This turtle will overtake your hairline. Your ears are the remote. You are now tuned in to the SWVrthy show. Press play, pause, and rewind to see how I tell visions. I think that was more of a free write. I do that quite often. So yeah, I always say everyone has a style of writing. I love to experiment. And that's the beauty about writing. There is no structure except here in school. And that's why I hate English. And here I am today. So the next piece is called Colorblind. I'm so grateful I'm not colorblind because I would not know what I'm wearing right now.
How did you know what's going on with traffic lights?
Oh man, that's very true. That's true. I'll just be hitting cars, you know, or just putting my ears to the ground.
No,
listen to the heartbeat of the cars. Colorblind. All in, blue pill, red pill, falling. Deadpool to deals that steal souls in contracts. My content connects with intent to impact and contact your conscious with caution. Car emotions splash paint on your canvas. I fold to the prescriptions of unstable income to not succumb visions into a tunnel with a dead end. Green is all I see. We focus on profits and ignore our prophets, missing the moments that molded us into monuments. Each test we swallow is meant for us, only us, making seasoned testaments created from the recipe of success. A cocktail of flavors, I mix a lot, picking lots with pixie dust. My bank got back and I cannot lie. All in, blue pill, red pill, falling. The dead pool deals that seal souls in contracts. Colorblind. I have splintered in my thumb. I spit blood each time I speak. You'd think I'd thrown thorns torn from the ideal of his crown to dismount. A mason, abysmal idioms, trotting miles in minds, impulsively migrating from a broker's area. Their throat is an open grave. Digging deeper, flicking through pages of our books, collecting dust on their shelves, or a catalyst to their flame as they try to burn our history. Poverty. Your point of view on property makes you clinch to inked trees, leveraging the tax of thoughts in your head, hemorrhaging magical repertoires, counseling cancelled ambitions sealed in S.W.V. They cemented doubts carved in, cave in, tunnel visions using your cravings covered in winter leaves. Decay yin, their gums lack adhesives. Due to corruption from the information the politicians feed us, my enemies have broken teeth, leaving gaps in their speech, lacking deliverance. That's why I lay down and sleep, to wake up again with a shield around me. Create from unanswered prayers, sent from his holy mountains that sustains me. Every tree that doesn't produce good fruit will be cut down and thrown into fire. Once burnt, man, you are not going to be able to give me nutrients. I don't watch your com when you post, not caring about the www, who, what, where. Witness wickedness in the world, wove to wove the code that holds heroes of old, men of renown, to decompose the truths we've found. The shameless aim at the blameless, filling earth with violence. They arc their nemesis, dreaming everything on earth will perish. Confident that their covenant will survive the floods of absent parents, drowning generational teachings with what the media dreams relevant. Fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Only fools despise wisdom and instructions. Maronda. So yeah, this last piece is probably one of my favorites. It's titled S.I.N. So yeah. They put a price on our ancestors' heads, expressing pride through transactions made. Centuries of sanctions, like energies of action. Centuries of oppression, killing my people for fashion. The skin I wear is still out of fashion, yet it trends in most regions. It's the reason the economy resets. My belly, man, economy, something, many colonies, is felonies for taking the knee. My land is calling, crawling, my mind is listening, walking, my hand is digging, falling into the earth's core, searching for lavas that melt seats built and seats held at the top of their hierarchy to pop off their anarchy. Instead of hiring, they're too busy firing, aiming at people like me. May the 4th be with you, car. What the slave is the 4th of July. Invaders of Anakin that are dark-skinned, living scars through wars of stars, destroying our sons to not all be one. Removing lights from a tunnel vision, revoking rights from televisions. The revolution will not be televised. No go now, could change your head. The first change that takes place is in your mind. Hence, the revolution will not be televised. If they tell you otherwise, be wise that others not box to a medium of media that feeds them to starve our freedom. The oppressed will be recognized. You wonder why my people are hungry? We crossed countries, chasing for change that left us fasting. You wonder why my people are angry. They cross countries, marked X's on treasures, trenched in trenches of dead bodies. Terra kunja zwanja taura. I'm black and I'm proud of no cloud of doubt. Terra kunja Rimi Rangu as it bathes in this concrete jungle to not be conquered by crown jewels, extorted from conquered wells, soaked in the stained blood of my ancestors' cells. Our DNA is imprisoned in a helix, made up specifics, creating a suppressing staircase, destroying our spinal, disintegrating our identity designed to spiral us down so we roll a dice in this life, playing snakes and ladders to survive, protecting others. Lost. Apart died, learning about the apartheid. You're telling me having a black employee doesn't make you racist. Let's face it, overcoming humanity basics, burdened by white supremacists, breaking bread with our youngins, playing chess, not checkers. Not again, we talking about practice, becoming a franchise of daily habits, adding a rhythm to the silent night sky of fighting native tongues of chandeliers that shan't deliver fear. If fighting to survive is sin, then I guess all living things in this world are not free from sin. Manjas Nataware, I'm eloquent and heavy sent, is evident as I rest in my pen, making poems that repent, replenishing a land of the promised land. My flowers grow in darkness, allowing my words to synthesize the pain of the photos they paint. Creme de la creme, earthed since birth, the cream of the crop, a king in this field. I am SWVrthy. I am speaking with vibrations, revealing that humanity yields a bulletproof, dark-skinned harvest that humbles even the darkness created from racism, aimed at those who sin. I said, I am SWVrthy. I am speaking with vibrations, revealing that humanity yields a dark-skinned harvest that humbles even the darkness created from racism, aimed at those who speak in natives' sin. Thank you.